The cool morning air kissed my skin as I stepped out of the vintage car, my heart still racing from the night's unexpected journey. Beside me, Mark's hand found mine, his touch grounding me back to reality after a night that blurred the lines of our 8-year marriage. The open road had always whispered promises of adventure, but nothing prepared us for the twist our latest hitchhiking escapade would take. As the car's taillights faded into the dawn, I couldn't shake the thrill of what had happened, nor the question that now hung between us like the morning mist. What would this mean for us moving forward? The air was thick with the scent of pine and the promise of adventure. As I stood there, my thumb extended, feeling the weight of the world shrink to the size of the highway before me. I'm Jane, 32, and alongside me was my husband Mark, our marriage, a tapestry of 8 adventurous years. We've always been drawn to the open road, the kind of people who find solace in the unknown, in the stories whispered by the wind and the strangers we meet along the way. This particular journey began on an autumn morning, the kind where the leaves seemed to have conspired to paint the world in their fiery hues. There was something magical about the way the light filtered through the trees, casting long shadows that danced with the promise of the stories yet to unfold. We stood there, our thumbs out, our eyes scanning the horizon for our next ride, our next adventure. As the sun dipped lower, its golden rays stretching across the road, a car unlike any other we'd seen on our travels pulled over. It was sleek, vintage, with a body that gleamed like it had been polished by time itself. The door opened, and out stepped 2 men, their hair a distinguished salt and pepper, their faces lined with the tales of 1,000 roads. They introduced themselves as Tom and Jerry, old friends embarking on a journey of their own. Tom, with a smile that seemed to hold secrets of the world, gestured for us to join them. There was an air about them, a seasoned traveler's charm that was both inviting and slightly mysterious. We climbed into the back of their car, the leather seats embracing us like old friends. As we settled in, I couldn't help but wonder about these men and the stories they carried. As we settled into the plush leather seats of Tom and Jerry's car, the conversation flowed as smoothly as the road ahead. Tom, with his deep, resonant voice, spoke of his days as a journalist, traveling the world to uncover stories. His tales were rich with detail, from the bustling streets of Mumbai to the quiet, snow-covered villages in the Swiss Alps. Each story was a thread in the tapestry of his adventurous life, woven with the threads of human emotion and the unexpected turns of fate. Jerry, on the other hand, was a retired engineer with a passion for photography. His voice was softer, yet it carried the weight of his experiences. He would pause, letting the silence fill with the imagined click of his camera shutter, capturing the beauty of the landscapes they traversed. He spoke of the golden hour in the Sahara, where the sand seemed to glow with an inner light, and the serene beauty of the northern lights, dancing across the sky in a symphony of colors. The miles passed, and the topics ranged from politics to philosophy, from the mundane to the profound. Mark, my husband, seemed to be lulled by the rhythmic hum of the engine, his eyes drooping as if he were about to fall asleep. I, however, was wide awake, captivated by the tales of adventure and the wisdom these men shared. Their stories were like old wine, rich and complex, leaving a lingering taste of the world's vastness and the smallness of our own lives in comparison. As the night deepened and the road got quieter, the atmosphere inside the car shifted. The headlights cut through the darkness, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch into the unknown. Tom's voice took on a more reflective tone, speaking of the lessons learned on his journeys. The car's interior was dimly lit by the dashboard, lights casting long shadows across our faces. As we neared our destination, a sense of gratitude overwhelmed me. These men had not only shared their journey, but had enriched ours with their stories. I felt a need to repay their kindness in some way. Mark, now seemingly fast asleep, left me to my thoughts. I turned to Tom, who was driving, and thanked him again. He smiled, his eyes twinkling in the dim light, Without thinking, I moved closer, my heart racing with an inexplicable urge. I sat on Tom's lap, my actions driven by a mix of gratitude and an adventurous spirit. I kissed his neck, the scent of his cologne mingling with the leather of the car seats. Jerry, from the back, watched with a curious, then approving gaze. He joined us, his hands gentle, yet firm. The car was filled with a new kind of energy, one that was both forbidden and thrilling. As the atmosphere thickened with our shared breaths, I couldn't help but wonder about Mark. What would he do when he wakes up to this unexpected scene? Would he be shocked? Or would he understand the moment's spontaneity? The thought of his reaction sent a shiver down my spine, but it was too late to turn back now. The road stretched ahead, endless and dark, mirroring the path we were on. Tom's hands were on the wheel, but his focus was on me, his touch sending waves of excitement through me. Jerry's presence added to the intensity, his camera capturing not just the road, but the raw, unfiltered moments unfolding within the car. The thrill of the unknown, the adventure of the road, it all seemed to converge in this moment. My heart pounded with the thrill of the forbidden, the allure of stepping outside the boundaries of our usual life. I glanced back at Mark, his face peaceful in sleep, unaware of the storm brewing around him. The idea of him waking up to this scene was both terrifying and exhilarating. Would he see it as a betrayal, or would he recognize it as part of the adventure we always sought? The car moved on, the hum of the engine a constant reminder of the road ahead. The car slowed down, pulling into a rest stop just outside our destination town. The night was silent except for the soft murmur of our breaths. Mark stirred, his eyes fluttering open, but instead of shock or anger, there was a glint of excitement. He had been pretending all along, his voyeuristic pleasure evident in his gaze. Tom and Jerry, now aware of Mark's wakefulness, didn't stop. Instead, they continued, their actions now more deliberate, as if performing for an audience. The atmosphere was charged with an electric tension, a mix of betrayal, consent, and raw desire. Mark's eyes locked with mine, a silent conversation passing between us. His gaze was intense, filled with a mixture of curiosity and something else, something that hinted at his own desires being stirred by the unfolding scene. Tom's hand, which had been resting on my thigh, now moved with a purpose, his touch igniting a fire within me. Jerry, from the back seat, leaned forward, his camera clicking softly, capturing the raw emotion of the moment. His lens focused not just on the physicality, but on the expressions, the unspoken agreements, and the thrill of the unexpected. I felt a surge of adrenaline, the kind that comes from stepping into the unknown, from pushing boundaries. My heart raced as I considered the implications of this night, how it might redefine the very fabric of our marriage. Tom whispered something in my ear, his voice a low rumble that sent shivers down my spine. His words were promises of adventure, of exploring new territories together, not just on the road, but in our personal lives. Jerry's camera continued to click, each shot a testament to our shared journey into the unknown. Mark, now fully awake, moved closer, his breath hot against my neck. His presence added another layer to the complexity of the moment. There was no anger, no jealousy, just a mutual understanding that this was part of our adventure, part of the stories we'd tell in years to come. The rest stop was quiet. The world, outside, oblivious to the storm of emotions brewing within our car. The headlights cast long shadows, creating a stage for our performance. The air was thick with anticipation, with the promise of new beginnings. The rest stop was deserted, only sound the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind. Inside the car, however, the air was thick with the heat of the moment. I was caught in a whirlwind of emotions, guilt mingling with an intense thrill. Mark watched, his presence now an active part of the scenario, his silent approval fueling the fire. The encounter was not just physical. It was a dance of consent, boundaries, and exploration. As the night deepened, so did our connection with Tom and Jerry, turning a simple ride into a profound experience of human connection and desire. Tom's touch was electric, sending shivers through me as his fingers traced lines of fire along my skin. His voice, a low, seductive whisper, promised adventures beyond the road, into realms of intimacy and shared secrets. Jerry's camera, ever present, captured not just the physicality, but the raw, unfiltered emotions that played across our faces, documenting this unexpected chapter of our lives. Mark's gaze was intense, his eyes reflecting a mix of curiosity and arousal. He moved closer, his breath warm against my neck, adding another layer to the complexity of the moment. His hands joined in, exploring, as if to affirm his participation in this new narrative we were all writing together. The atmosphere was charged, electric with the thrill of the forbidden. Each touch, each whispered word, was a step further into uncharted territory. The boundaries of our marriage seemed to blur, becoming as fluid as the shadows cast by the car's headlights. I felt a surge of adrenaline, the kind that comes from stepping into the unknown, from pushing boundaries. My heart raced as I considered the implications of this night, how it might redefine the very fabric of our marriage. Would this be the end, or just the beginning of a new chapter in our lives? Tom's hands were on the wheel, but his focus was on me, his touch sending waves of excitement through me. Jerry's presence added to the intensity, his camera capturing not just the road, but the raw, unfiltered moments unfolding within the car. The thrill of the unknown, the adventure of the road, it all seemed to converge in this moment. My heart pounded with the thrill of the unknown. As dawn broke, the first light of morning filtered through the trees, casting a soft glow on the world around us. We reached our destination, the car slowing to a gentle stop. The reality of what had transpired settled in, a heavy yet exhilarating weight on our shoulders. Tom and Jerry, with a knowing look, thanked us for the company, their words carrying the weight of shared secrets, of a night that had transcended the ordinary. Mark and I stepped out into the cool morning air, our skin flushed from the intensity of our journey. The vintage car drove away, its engine a fading whisper, leaving us with memories that would forever alter our perception of hitchhiking, of marriage, and of ourselves. We watched it disappear down the road, a symbol of the adventure we had just experienced, a chapter in our lives that was both thrilling and profound. Hand in hand, we walked into the town, the quiet streets beginning to stir with the morning's first activities. There was a new understanding between us, a silent agreement that our adventures would continue, perhaps with new rules, but with the same thirst for the unknown. The night's events had not just been physical, they were a dance of consent, boundaries, and exploration, turning a simple ride into a profound experience of human connection and desire. As we strolled through the town, the implications of the night weighed on my mind. Would this be the end, or just the beginning of a new chapter in our lives? The boundaries of our marriage had blurred, becoming as fluid as the shadows cast by the car's headlights. Yet there was no regret, only a deep sense of having lived fully in the moment, of having pushed the boundaries of our usual life. We found a small cafe, the aroma of fresh coffee mingling with the crisp morning air. Sitting down, we ordered, our hands still intertwined, a physical reminder of our unity despite the unconventional night. Mark's eyes met mine, a silent conversation passing between us, filled with curiosity, acceptance, and a hint of excitement for what might come next. The cafe was quiet, the world outside oblivious to the storm of emotions brewing within us. Our conversation was light, but beneath it lay the unspoken understanding of what we had experienced. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.